Most people notice when their body gets weaker. They feel it in their knees, their back, their breath on the stairs, but almost nobody notices when their mind does. Not because of age, not because of genetics, but because of a handful of habits so normal, so invisible, that you've probably done 3 of them today already. A distracted brain doesn't fail dramatically, it fails quietly, by making everything important feel slightly harder than it should. And the 7th habit on this list is so subtle that most people doing it right now have no idea it's the most damaging of all. Habit 1. Constant notifications. Your phone buzzes. You're reading something important. A message appears. You check it. 20 seconds later, you're back where you started. Except you're not. Part of your attention stayed behind, still finishing the thought you were interrupted from. You don't notice the residue, you just notice that focusing suddenly takes more effort than it used to. By the end of the day, you've checked your phone over 100 times, and most of those moments weren't really a choice. Neuroscientists call this attention residue, and it never fully clears. Habit 2. Living in background noise. A podcast while you cook, a show while you scroll, music while you work. Silence feels uncomfortable, so you fill it, always. But here's what's scary. Your brain rarely gets a moment of true quiet, and quiet is often where loose ideas connect, where thoughts settle, and where problems sometimes become easier to understand. Most people never notice this happening because the decline isn't loud, it's quiet, all the time, in the wrong way. Habit 3. Never challenging your own opinions. Imagine 2 people reading the exact same article. One looks for what's true, the other looks for what confirms what they already believe. They read the same words, but they walk away with completely different conclusions, and only one of them got slightly smarter. This is called confirmation bias. The people who stay sharpest aren't the ones who are rarely wrong, they're the ones who keep checking if they are. Habit 4. Outsourcing memory to technology. You used to know phone numbers by heart, directions, birthdays, important dates. Now your phone holds all of it, and your brain has quietly stopped trying. Psychologists call this the Google effect. When information is always available, your brain becomes less likely to store it in the first place. Why remember it if you can search for it in 2 seconds? It sounds efficient, but it isn't. Because memory isn't just storage. Memory is the raw material your brain uses to think, to connect ideas into reason. Outsource enough of it, and you're not creating more mental space. You're running on empty shelves. Habit 5. Living on short-form content. You open a short video app for 5 minutes before bed. 40 minutes later, you're still scrolling. You've watched dozens of clips. But if someone asked what you actually watched, you probably couldn't name 5. Your brain has been trained to expect a new hit of novelty every few seconds, and once that becomes normal, anything slower starts to feel difficult. A book, a real conversation, a difficult problem, not because they're boring, but because your brain now expects constant stimulation. And here's the part that should worry you. This doesn't feel like damage. It feels like relaxing. Habit 6. Chronic sleep deprivation. 5 hours of sleep tonight, 6 tomorrow. A pattern that never quite catches up. While you sleep, your brain is busy. It strengthens memories, processes information, and clears out waste that builds up during the day. Cut that process short night after night, and the part of your brain responsible for focus, judgment, and decision-making never fully resets. The damage doesn't announce itself. It doesn't arrive all at once. It just shows up as feeling a little off every day, for years, never dramatic enough to take seriously. But none of these habits come close to what's doing the most damage. Habit 7. Losing the ability to sit with one thought. Try this right now. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just sit with one single thought for 2 full minutes. If that sounds uncomfortable, you've just found habit number 7. This isn't distraction itself, it's what distraction creates over time. A brain that has forgotten how to stay with one idea long enough to actually understand it. Not skim it, not react to it, understand it. The smartest people aren't always the fastest thinkers. Often, they're simply the people who can stay with a difficult question longer than everyone else, while everyone else has already given up and reached for their phone. People can watch 100 videos about a problem in their life and still never solve it, because understanding requires staying, and staying is exactly what every habit before this one has been quietly removing. The frightening part isn't that these habits exist, it's that they feel normal. Nobody wakes up one day and notices they're thinking less clearly than they used to. The change happens slowly, so slowly that most people never notice it at all. Intelligence isn't something you either have or don't have, it's something you build or erode, one normal day at a time. So the question isn't whether you're intelligent. The question is, which habits are you practicing today, and which habits are quietly practicing you? If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Psych Mode for more psychology-based insights into how your mind really works.